These are pretty, they're sparkly, but I almost had them redone before I even walked out of her shop as soon as she did them. I decided not to, and I want to share with you why. It sounds like this is going to be about nail polish, but really what I want to talk to you about is emotional resilience. The lesson here and why I decided to keep them instead of having her redo them again for another hour and a half was uh, I've almost made it. I've almost made it a whole month. My fingernails have been bothering me for the whole time. Oh my gosh. This is from the rec center. We played racquetball. uh, it's not about that. It's about my fingernails. So it sounds like this is going to be about nail polish, but really what I want to talk to you about is emotional resilience. I almost had them redone before I even walked out of her shop as soon as she did them. I decided not to, and I want to share with you why I didn't do it. So this idea, I don't know if you can see the red, and then this is blue, the little pink, my little second ring fingers, right? So it's supposed to be like red, white, and blue, patriotic for the 4th of July. It's summertime. I did a whole like waving the flag thing. And I'm like, oh, I'll do my nails red, white, and blue. I just started getting my nails done for like my whole life. I never did this until just a couple months ago. We're going to have a talk about fingernails and perimenopause and menopause and hormone fluctuations and how they affect your fingernails. And they're just not the same. That's a discussion for a different day. But anyway, I started getting my nails done for my first time in my life. And I'm like, oh, red, white, and blue, right? So I go to her, but I like the sparklies. You can see a little bit of the shine on there, right? Even with my little background tool. So I go and I'm like, she says, well, how about instead of red, white, and blue, we do like red, silver, and blue? I was like, that's cool. Cause then the sparkle, that's like white. And so I pick out the color that I want. And she says, well, we have to put black underneath because the sparkle won't show up unless you put the black underneath. And I'm like, black? Like my brand is about white and bright and share light and bling and like sparkle everywhere, right? Like I don't do like emo dark. Like look, okay, if the light doesn't hit them right, it just looks like I have black fingernails, right? Which would be cool if it's fall, but it's not. It's the middle of summer. Anyway, so I was like, I don't want black underneath because like look, you can see this is what I look at. When I look at myself on my own fingernails, the underneath part, I'm seeing black all the time. And I was really worried that that's what would happen. She said, no, trust me, look at the sample. And I did. And it was like black underneath the sample. And then they put the gold on top. And she says, trust me. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I'll trust nail girl. This whole thing is new to me. I already made a mistake once because I didn't say the right word. And I had to deal with that. But we came through it and we're good. I'm learning how this nail thing works. So anyway, she does all of my fingernails black and then comes across with the different colors. And and it wasn't as sparkly as I thought, but I'm like, maybe she does another coat. I can tell it's gonna bother me now because I'm an optimist and I try to find a way to win. I'm like, hey, I can call it like gunmetal or something. It kind of has that like metallic, like Second Amendment, fighting battles of the revolution. We can go with the whole red, white, and gunmetal, or red, blue, and gunmetal. Anyway, I tried to make the best of it. I tried to be like, it's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. And she did do a great job. She's a great gal, and the sparkle is beautiful. The sheen is nice. You got my little infinity that I always do on my pointer finger. Why do I do infinity? Because you, my friend, are infinite. So what I realized is this is actually a training opportunity. And the lesson here and why I decided to keep them instead of having her redo them again for another hour and a half was life doesn't always hand us exactly what we order. There's a lot of times that we wish our body was different. We wish our relationships were easier. We didn't get the job or the credit for something that we think we should. Somebody said something that we didn't plan on or that was hurtful. We get, the fine lines and whatever that we didn't plan for. The nails are a metaphor. So the exercise that I wanted is practicing discomfort. That is good for us. That is something that is healthy for us to build a muscle against. We don't want to be weak that at the first sign of discomfort we just melt or we can't function. We really want to be able to be strong in all scenarios. And some examples of ways that you would use this, and this would be helpful, is because as humans, we're always trying to eliminate discomfort as fast as possible, right? If you're hungry, well, let's go eat. If you're thirsty, like grab a drink. If you're bored, like you start scrolling. If you're embarrassed, you want to like explain, well, it's not my fault because this, right? If you're lonely, turn on TV. If you're dissatisfied with anything in your life and it feels, then we want to clear it. We want to get rid of it as fast as possible. But maybe not every discomfort has to be solved. Sometimes we just need to feel. Sometimes we just need to practice not getting our way. If I can say it that way, is this making sense? That maybe we sometimes don't say that thing that we're like, oh, and you're just like, you know what? Relationships are better. The scenario is better if I don't respond emotionally and say the thing I want to say. But it's uncomfortable for me not to just like tell them how I feel and what's on my mind. But you know what? I serve myself better by sitting in discomfort and breathing, journaling. Not all the time. Sometimes we do need to speak up for ourselves, right? So character is built in that gap. And the larger the muscle of resilience and self-management that we can build, allowing discomfort, it's a piece of that. It's almost surrender. It's almost allowing, sometimes we can do it someone else's way, and that's okay. As I've gotten a little more platinum in my hair, I have come to realize that there's more than one right way to do a lot of things. There's more than one good idea or good method, and sometimes it's okay to just yield, even though I'm pretty smart and I really thought this through and I'm pretty sure my way is the best way. However, I don't have to shine all the time. Sometimes I can let other people and we can try it their way. Sometimes you get to let other people learn. Sometimes it's definitely not the easiest and rightest way what other people do. And it takes some discomfort, some sitting in that discomfort to just allow other people to learn, right? I could have paid to have these redone. She would have redone it for free. She was like, at the end, she's like, if you don't love them, we could just redo them. Like we redo everything. I can totally, because it was like polish, put it under the UV light, second coat UV light, third coat and sparkle UV, final coat UV light. Like she really does a good job and they last. Like I'm getting them redone in the morning in a matter of hours. I'm so excited, but like they still look great. And she would have redone basically almost the whole nail appointment. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to practice every time I see the black and I'm like, that's not on brand. That is bothering me every single time. It has been very uncomfortable because you look at your hands anytime you grab something, anytime you pick up something, anytime I'm typing, I'm like, anytime I'm seeing myself all day, every day. And so it really has been repetitions of me just allowing. I'm practicing in my 8 Beautiful app. I'm definitely getting my reps on like the deep breathing minute, right? Because I'll be like, no, it's fine. I decided it's fine. I'm still in control of the whole thing. If I wanted to change it, I could. I'm practicing. I'm practicing, right? Confidence is built sometimes when circumstances are fragile and we have to do something that's challenging, that pushes us and tested us. Confidence is built on identity that lasts, that you keep returning to the state. I decide to be happy. I decide to be grateful and joyful. I decide over and over again that, you know what? I'm gonna practice looking for what's positive. So every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, no, I'm like, no, you know what? Look at the sparkles. They're great. Look at my cuticles. They're great. Look at they're growing out. My nails are healthier than ever. They're strong. They're kind of elegant, right? Like I've never gotten to do this for myself before, and it's kind of beautiful, and I kind of love it, and it kind of is on brand because I have like my little colors and my infinity, and so what's right? I get to practice saying what's right because the human instinct is also, I need to fix this. This shouldn't be happening. Something is wrong. That's all resistance. Allowing is, I don't love this, and it's still okay. This is my experience. This is what is. If you can learn to love what is, oh, you'll be so much happier. If you can just say, where is the gift in this scenario? If I just was grumbly and grouchy the entire 3+ weeks and between nail appointments, I'm like, oh, I just can't wait. I'm still excited to get like something bright, I'll probably do like a yellow, like an absolute like opposite end of the spectrum. Um, to like overcorrect almost. Maybe I'll put like a little bling or something on there. I don't know. But being okay, regardless of external circumstances, that is emotional freedom. That is something that you can feel good about the level of emotional management that you have when how you feel and the amount of joy that you feel inside of yourself is not determined by someone else's actions. Really, that's what it was. I didn't want to do it. She's like, trust me. I trusted. Learn my lesson. It was a small thing. This is not a moral issue. It's just a judgment call. And to someone else, they might be like, "Those are the best nails ever. What is she talking about? Why is she complaining? Those are ultimate. I would have totally picked that on purpose." And you may, and they probably will look great on you. And that's the beauty. That's what makes the world go around. Is everybody has different opinions of what's good. So I'm gonna ask you, what small discomfort could you stop running from this week? What could you allow that might not just cause suffering, because that's not what we're trying to do, that might help you expand your level of emotional management, that might help you nurture a relationship instead of having to be right or having to feel like you said your piece or you got things your way, or like what could you sit with? Could you sit with hunger? We're not trying to be hungry, but it's kind of in a healthy way. It's okay to not be a slave to the signals that our body is sending, right? Like you're in charge. You're in charge of your body, and you run the show, right? And let's not forget that, and let's not let your body forget that your soul is in charge, and this is the beautiful machine that you get to run around with your soul in. So maybe it's waiting a few extra minutes. Maybe it's posting a video. Maybe it's sharing something vulnerable in your heart in a safe sisterhood space like what we have with the See Yourself Beautiful community. Maybe it's saying no. Maybe it's saying yes. Maybe it's letting your hair grow out another week, and it's okay. I remember. So I've done a little ombre thing. You can kind of see some fun stuff with the hair. We'll talk about that another time. But I've kind of blended into some of the blonde that I used to have. But I remember when I had a definite like grow out line, which this is new for me. This is the first time I've ever done this. But the gray hair thing, you gotta figure out how you're gonna handle it. So when I was at the salon every several weeks, always getting the update to the blonde, I remember there would be a certain amount of grow out to where like when it was a certain amount out, I would just I'd feel crunchy, I'd feel yucky and moody and just be like almost embarrassed to be out. Like uh, it's time. I got to get back in the salon. I don't feel right. I don't feel pretty. It really affected my mood, and it shouldn't. And I know intellectually that it shouldn't. That's part of that subjective beauty, right? How we see ourselves. But just letting them grow another week and not being frustrated, not apologizing about it. I can't tell you. And this is one reason I didn't do my nails for so long. So many gals, I'd be like, oh, your nails are so cute. They wouldn't say thank you, or they would be like, oh, I know, I'm so excited. They would be like, oh, they're so grown out. They're so bad. I have to go get them redone. And like, oh, don't even look at them. And I'm like, I was focused on how beautiful they are. And that's what I commented on. And it's almost like they took away my beautiful enjoyment of their nails by saying no, these are terrible. I'm like, what do you mean they're terrible? I just told you they're gorgeous. Like, I think they're gorgeous. Are you calling me a liar? like like that's kind of aggressive. I don't usually use that kind of language, but really, like, think about it. When you reject someone's compliment like that, it kind of comes off a little bit that way. So just think about these things. Think about, maybe that's you. Maybe accepting a compliment is the piece of discomfort. Oh, did I hit a nerve? Are you one of those that does that? So next time someone says that dress looks fantastic on you, instead of being like, oh my gosh, I got the best deal. I got it on clearance at Ross or whatever. That's fine if you did, but you can just be like, let's not demean anything. Let's just say, oh, thank you. I love it too. I'm so glad you love it. Right. And compliments, we can talk about taking them out of the air, placing them in your heart. It's good. It's good to receive. So maybe you just allow a compliment. Maybe that's the bit of discomfort. That's a great challenge for you to practice. What about going to the gym if you feel awkward? If you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm afraid I'm going to look like a fool. I don't even know if I should be wearing these leggings, right? I have all those same thoughts, right? Uh, but discomfort is what gets out of that uncomfortable place. Discomfort is what builds capacity. Lifting a heavy weight is what builds the muscle. Doing a challenging thing that feels difficult expands your capacity to do more the next time. These are valuable character traits. This is what we're building. We're building identity. When we see ourselves beautiful, it's because we are recognizing more and more of the good and developed parts of ourself. Not to ever discount the spiritual, amazing, beautiful, infinite parts of you that you can neither add or subtract to. Those just are. But when we're looking at ourselves and we want to see ourselves with beauty, we respect doing something that's challenging. We respect growth within ourselves. We we enjoy. It feels good to say, you know what? I ran into something and I handled that. I handled that. I can handle my life. I can handle myself. That's empowering. That, ladies, is what we're going for. That is what resilience is. It's not just saying I can suffer longer. That's not it. It's like I can do this thing because I choose it. I'm exercising agency, and that is who you are. You are infinite. Your infinite self is not threatened by temporary discomfort. When you know who you are, little inconveniences don't have the power to define you or derail you or to change your emotional state for very long. I will say, very recently, I had something unexpected happen, some news, and I was like, oh, and it kind of startled me and it threw me off. And it's almost like it was like a little bit of a gut punch, like I had to catch my breath from this news and I had to adapt. But resilience is when you can get back up and you can okay, let me take some breaths. Okay, and I keep moving. I don't melt in a puddle on the floor. I don't become unable to function. I can inhale, exhale, keep moving, right? You are bigger than the discomfort that you are feeling. I'm pretty proud of myself that I've kept a positive attitude this whole time, even though, like, if you lived in my house, you would have heard a lot of comments about it and you would have heard a lot of like active returning to positivity, right? Like, I just can't wait to have my world brightened up again, and to see light and bright. And so I'm very excited about it. But every day they've reminded me that peace doesn't come from getting everything I want. Peace comes from how I decide to interpret the events that are happening to me. And I'll be okay when things don't go my way. That's a really important belief to have. I'm going to say that again. I'll be okay even if things do not go my way because I am resilient. I am able to handle when the unexpected happens, or if I have a disappointment, or if I have something I just have to adapt to. So I want you to remember you are infinite. You can have some discomfort. You can decide that it's an exercise in self growth. That said, I do always want you to have healthy boundaries in your life to stand up for yourself, respect yourself, but don't shield yourself from what could allow you to grow. And so, of course, I will share with you my brand new nails, but I'm like, I just got to put this in the books. Here, let's see. I don't know if I can give you like a close up. They are pretty, right? Look at that. Look at that. What was I complaining about this whole time? It's okay. It's okay. I'll be okay. My hands are still healthy. They still do all the things. Mostly, if you see my vlog, my pinky is still like in recovery, but so much to be grateful for. So, with that, I encourage you, like, let me know what has helped you build resilience in your own life. What discomfort have you sat with? Now, this is very trivial. This is just absolutely almost not even worth making a video about, but it was significant to me, and your things are significant to you. And some people have very significant things that they deal with. I have a very dear friend of mine that went for a run and resulted in a lifetime in a wheelchair. And those kinds of things you don't see coming. And that kind of space is where there's a lot of resilience built in those moments, and you have to draw on your current reservoirs, right? And so look for the good, look for the great, look for what's going well, what's right, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, and expand your capacity for joy by practicing some of these things we've talked about. All right, until next time, I love you. Let me do that again. I'll see you soon.
To zoom in a little bit because when they're zoomed in, it looks a little bit better.
Yeah. Thank you.